And when we talk about brands, people get so like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? But we're all on social now. So how do you maintain your customer service with your brand using social? People can't always come into your store due to whatever regulations each state has in place for COVID-19. So customer service and using social media has never been more important. Find out how you can use your social media platform as a customer service platform and give your customers real-time customer service. Find out how coming up next. I'm Eric Mitchell, and this is To The Point. We always are talking about digital branding, social media marketing, because this is the world we live in now. Everything is finally remote. So what does being remote mean? Well, it means your business isn't having all the same traffic it had maybe if you're a brick and mortar. And you have to provide good customer service, because now customer service separates you from the rest of the pack. But you have to use social media in the right way to be able to use your customer service and respond right away, whether it's your Facebook Messenger, your Twitter, or your Instagram, your IG direct messenger, or you can also use direct mail inside LinkedIn. TikTok has a messaging feature. Everywhere, whether you're using WhatsApp, your messaging has to be on point in putting your customers first, because customers will go elsewhere because we just want to be treated good during tough times. That's what you always want to see. Today's guest has an amazing background in helping Fortune 500 brands doing that in a kick-ass podcast. Now, funny story, I was once on his podcast many, many years ago when we were both coming up. It's going to be a great interview today to talk about where we're both at today. It's kind of a theme we've had in the last 2 weeks with guests that we've crossed paths earlier in our career and now see each other again years later. It's awesome. It's fun to see how successful folks have become and how we certainly didn't build what we've built overnight. So this will be a good episode for you. So let's welcome To The Point, my good friend, awesome podcaster, kick-ass entrepreneur, investor, Bitcoin dude, just all-around badass dude, and he's super tall. Plus, he loves EDM, so we get along instantly. Let's welcome to the show my good bud, Travis Huff.
LifeFlip Media, the voice of the warrior class. Are you a veteran or patriotic business owner, author, musician, public speaker, or entrepreneur? Are you ready to take the next step towards success? Then look no further than LifeFlip Media, the voice of the warrior class. LifeFlip Media is the #1 veteran-owned PR firm in America. We use our mission-oriented approach to secure advertising and media exposure for your business, your brand, and your products. It's time to let LifeFlip Media put you on the cutting edge of success. LifeFlip Media, the voice of the warrior class.
Hey, Travis, how you doing today, bud?
Good, Eric. How you doing, boss? Ready to go, baby. It's Sunday, feeling good and feeling fine.
You know, what's awesome is we had this experience years ago. Look at the two of us. I mean,
God bless.
we were
God
early
bless.
on in our careers, and like I was telling the folks before you came on, I was like, this is going to be an interesting journey, because we had Brian Fanzo on a week ago, and I was like laughing because he was like episode 8 of Social Hangout. If you remember Social Hangout with me, Kevin Thomas Tully, Jack Kazakowski, Gabe Vilsmanar. I mean, we had some pretty dope folks on there, and I know you interviewed.
Oh, geez.
Like you interviewed like all 4 of us at one time. I think we're like all in your like young episodes, and you see where all 4 of us are. It's crazy. Like I look around the space, I see you killing it, I see Fanzo killing it, I see Jack killing it, Kevin killing it, Gabe's always been killing it, and it's just funny because I'm like, dang, like you almost are like your own futurist with your podcast, because you went and found this young talent. People could go back in time, and we'll have all of Travis's links, by the way, if you're like, well, how do I find these? We'll have them all in here so you can go check out his. I'm sure he's like, great, we're going to have people go back into the archives of your early stuff. And he's like, great, you get to hear when I was still figuring out podcasting.
Right.
It's kind of like our early shows here at To The Point. We're like, please stay away from the first episodes. Please don't watch me talk the way I did and look at the horrible backdrop and the horrible overlay. All the things that we, as the creatives, drive us nuts. But anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Right.
We are here to talk about something you're really good at, besides EDM, parenting, and all the other fun things. Parenting, I think, is I think on a side note, before we get into business, that's the coolest thing, I think, for both of us. You weren't a father when I interviewed you, when we spoke last, and now you are. I love your IG with your little one. It's so cool because if you haven't figured it out, and you see it in Travis's lower third, he uses his sign is too tall in because the boy is like a giant. So go to his IG and check him out. Beautiful family, dude. I'm so happy for you. It's funny how everything kind of changes. Only downfall is you're a Cowboys fan, so we won't make fun of you too much.
We'll be happy to get any kind of football right now, man.
Hell yeah, we'll take anything. Although, before we get started, I got to ask you this, brother. I saw on The Athletic, which is my favorite place to get my sports, and Bleacher Report, mad shout out, and of course Barstool Sports. That's just, come on. El Presidente is like the man.
Dan Portnoy.
I love Dan Portnoy. You can tell we're sports fans. Everybody on our show's like, Eric, we'll find a way to talk about sports however he can. Damn it, you're right. I will.
Work it in.
We'll work it in. But I was reading an article, and Zeke and Dak both came out and said they want more respect in the league. They want to be recognized. And I kind of was chuckling. I'm like, hey, Zeke, maybe you should try to stay off the police blotter. You're a great running back. Yes. But as a fantasy football owner, you drive me nuts because you get suspended and you're an idiot, and you should just play football and stop, whining about being respected. Win some football games in the playoffs. That's when people remember you. Stop talking about that one time you beat the Packers in a wild card game. And Dak, you are a good QB, but when you get blown out by the Miami Dolphins, you should probably sit down and you're not going to get too much respect. Or be humble like Tom Brady. I always tell these big name QBs, I'm like, you have the GOAT still playing in the league. And I may not be a huge Brady fan, because he was a Patriot at the time. Right. But I mean, Brady as a character, as a QB, as who he is. I mean, he's the greatest QB of all times. Yes, he could go right. It's like comparing LeBron and frickin' Jordan and Kobe. Right. Three amazing athletes, they're all the GOAT. You can call three people from three different generations GOATs. It's cool.
Absolutely.
I'm like, why is everybody no, he can't be the GOAT, Montana? I'm like, dude, really?
They're all the GOAT. Dude, Patrick Mahomes is a new GOAT. Let's just be real. I mean, there's always a new generational GOAT. But yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right about Dak and Zeke. They still got a lot of work to go. Still great players, but a lot of work to go. And Jerry Jones, they're going to make sure these boys work, and I like the new coach. Bottom line is, we're just going to be excited to have any sports, Eric. Yes. As you know, I mean, I'm just like eating at the bit, man, to get baseball, NBA, anything back to watch. To bring us back to normal, man. I mean, that in itself will feel better outside of just being able to go to shop at the grocery store and do our little things here. I know you're gonna
that teaser in April of Jordan. We got The Last Dance. We got
my God,
10 episodes. We all geeked out as sports fans. We're like, and then ESPN, no knock, ESPN, love you to death. But then you turned around and you gave us Lance Armstrong's story. I was like, I
got nothing else.
I respect Lance Armstrong. It was an interesting story to see kind of Lance's side of what happened. But,
right.
And that kind of ties into what you do. I mean, something that you do many things, but one that I wanted to talk to folks about today is customer service and your image online. Now, trying to tie in Lance Armstrong to this, that was just me being clever. I mean, Lance to me is an amazing athlete still to this day. Yeah, he used performance enhancing, but whatever. The Tour de France, I couldn't do it without performance enhancing, and almost all those dudes cheat because they
were doing different things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a lot, but almost everybody does it. I mean, it's the same thing if we look at baseball, right? I mean,
absolutely.
The
pitchers were juicing too at that time.
I mean, if you look at the people on the list, FP Santangelo from Northern California, where I'm from, and also a former San Francisco Giant, he was pinged on that list. And what gets me, and this is kind of a separate tangent than talking about business, but like Barry Bonds, I humbly believe Barry Bonds belongs in the Hall of Fame, period, end of sentence. Steroids did not help that man crush the ball into McCovey Cove. They did not make him one of the best athletes of all time in baseball. And the fact him and Roger Clemens remain out of the Hall of Fame drives me nuts because Roger Clemens was throwing heat long before other people even stepped anywhere. And Barry Bonds was cracking balls when he was skinny, when he was big.
Right. Oh yeah.
And he
Absolutely.
he just loves the game of baseball. And I'm sorry, they've proven on steroids it doesn't make your eyesight better and your reaction time faster.
Yeah. No,
Sorry.
I mean, and everyone was doing it. They're all doing
Yeah.
something right now.
And it
You know,
wasn't illegal. That's
it
the thing that
wasn't.
drives me nuts.
Right.
Was
Right.
not illegal at the time. But hey, let's put an asterisk next to it. Just like they're doing with this NBA season and everything. I'm like, how come we can't just let sports be sports? But anyways, let's talk about customer service.
Absolutely.
Using social media. Now,
Yes.
I told you a story before. I like for me, like a perfect example of good customer service online. And airlines usually get trashed pretty hard on social media because people can use them, or you see bad behavior on an airlines. Some
Right.
are really good, I'll name them. Delta. I think Delta and Alaska Airlines, top of the bunch. Bad for years has been United, and United just appears not to want to fix that because still I'm hearing lots of complaints. People, why are we still flying United? And of course Spirit Air, but then I say, well, that's what you get when you fly Spirit Air.
Get what you pay for.
Get what you pay for. But brands now in 2020, we face something completely. I lost you again with this. So, these brands are so goofy, Travis. Like, some of them get in 2020, you need to be present. And I'm, holding up my cell phone here for everybody to see. That's the way that you do everything. We do business that way. But how many times have you gone, and this is to the folks watching, how many times have you gone and reached out on Facebook, Twitter, IG, or whatever your platform is, and heard nothing? Or if they show up like 8 weeks later, like, oh, sorry, we're busy. And one of the excuses, and I want you to cover this, Travis, is one of the biggest excuses I'm seeing, and it drives me nuts. I believe at the beginning of COVID-19, it was legit. Due to COVID-19, we're slow to respond.
Right.
Okay, we're 14 weeks into this now.
Yeah.
Your response time needs to go back to what it was. If Amazon and everybody else can get me something the next day after fixing it after 45 days, and we had to go back to, as my children said, the Stone Age to wait for Amazon Prime. True story.
Right.
That's what I was told. Like, what is this, Dad? We have to wait 3 weeks for something. I'm like, you mean like how we used to do it? Yeah. It's on the guys.
Delayed gratification.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys will be fine. I mean, that's the problem with this generation. But I think brands need to understand, because of the generation, because of these devices, our life is, you want it right now. You want a response promptly. I pick on Delta as a positive pick on. I ping Delta, I get a response. Another brand that I love, and I'm going to call them out while we're here, because they were one of the fastest response times ever, and it's actually why I use them now, is there is a brand. The heck are they? I'm like, hey, you guys are really good, but I'm not going to mention you on air. I am.
We got you.
So Strika Cloud, which does like hosting.
Okay,
Cloud,
yes.
Very small brand. I put out a few weeks ago, and then, well, we'll get to you. I don't know why I'm sharing my story, but hey, it's part of my story.
Yeah.
Right, we're just randomly doing this today. Strika Cloud, I reached out. I was having issues with a big brand. I wanted to make sure our website had crashed suddenly. For some glitch that they were like, oh, we forgot to tell you. Like, and I had to like have people like, hey, LifeLit Media's down. And I'm like,
wow, okay.
Our website's down. Like, So I posted, I said, anybody, I vented on Twitter.
On Twitter, yes.
This brand, both the brand I was whining about and this brand reached out, and they said, we got you. Sent me a private message, had me set up, gave me 2 months for free to prove that they were worth it. And then I added 3 more websites in the last 2 months with them because, number one, they respond right away. They respond on Sundays. They respond in the middle of the night. It's always somebody. They have somebody sitting there, and I'm like,
man.
And they're small. They're from Santa Barbara. Really small company. But again, what's the difference? That's what I'm going to give you money if you're going to treat me like gold. And yeah, it's something small. But Adobe's another one that does a great job also. If you have like a gripe, Adobe's like, hey, we got you. I think more brands. So Travis, explain to folks why customer service now on social is way more important than it ever was before.
Absolutely, because social has always been listening first, folks. People always think it's broadcast first. Like, I got to post this thing. I got to go viral. I got to do this thing. Social has always been listening first. That means looking through the feed, commenting. But most importantly about social is when people are commenting on your post, when people are actually commenting in your inbox. I remember I was telling this story a few years ago, 9 years ago, when I started my business 11 years ago. But about 2 years into the business, we actually sold a vehicle in a combination of comments, because there wasn't the direct message, and offline communication with the dealer. And at that point, I knew that we can sell a $70,000 Mercedes literally just talking to people. talking to the gentleman saying, hey, what kind of car would you like? Your dream car is Mercedes. What does that look like? Hey, what color do you like? Hey, do you want a convertible? And then we found the guy the car and literally put it together and sold the vehicle. And so at that point, I knew that social was literally just about listening, talking, communicating, and doing it in real time, meaning that you have to do it every day. And so I think that's, Eric, where people are missing. Most brands do not have the support staff. Most brands are on a shoestring. They're having their marketing director do everything, and they don't have the team to engage. And so a lot of times what you see is they actually put out content, but they never engage back. And so that's the missing link, where we're literally selling pools every day for a swimming pool company right now because people are building pools. They want to build their backyard paradise right now because we can't go to Hawaii. We can't go places. So people are building $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 pools right now. Yeah. The point is, you can do this literally now by just listening to people. Hey, you want a pool? What does that look like? Hey, cool. You know what? Hey, you mind giving us a call and we could actually, build something for you, And so it's that simple. It's just having a communication like you would with a friend. Yeah. And so it's not hard. It's just sometimes it's hard at scale, Eric. If you have hundreds of thousands of mentions, if you have tons of stuff going on, but if you're a local business, there's no excuse why you can't be doing this. If you're a small entrepreneur, that doesn't have hundreds of millions of interactions, you just need to take it every day. Look at your notifications every day, see who's talking to you, and just talk back to them like you're a friend. That's the hidden gem of social is friendship. It's not talking like a robot. It's not talking with a consumer facing, this sounds the best. It's using emojis. Why is Robinhood so popular? They use emojis when you buy stuff. Why are they connecting to the millennials and taking over the industry and pushing everybody to a zero flat fee or no fee platform on stocks? Is they make it fun. And it connects to who's using the platform, which is a millennial. And so the point is knowing your audience, but then connecting to them and having fun with them. It doesn't have to be corporate, right? So that's the point. And then, like anything, people quite often, the biggest mistake is that they do not spend the time. They wake up and said, I ain't got the time, Eric. And so then obviously you need to hire a company or hire someone on your staff, to do this. Because it will, folks, make you change your mind on airlines. Yeah. Eric's a perfect example. He's only booking, right, with what did you say? Delta, right?
Only Delta. That's where we get
only
all our
Delta.
Even my kids are frequent flyers now because of it.
See, think about that. So he's only going with one platform because they respond. That is unbelievable when you really think about it. So American, United for sure. My brother works for JetBlue. Any of these companies that are out there, they need to be trying to fight for your business because like anything out there, it's going to be a competitive market space going forward. Yep. Because people are going to be more wise with their money, I think, after this pandemic. This has hit people hard. And so it's going to not only just like, a lot of the past ones, we've had 9/11, unfortunately. We had the 2008. And even before that, when I graduated high school, we had the bubble, the 1999-2000 stock bubble of tech bubble. But the point is, this is a little bit different. We're now 4 months locked down in California, and I mean, things are different. But when you talk to the lady at the donut shop, or you talk to the lady at the mail when I drop my mail off or wherever, it ain't the same. So this isn't like a lingering couple weeks and then the economy's coming back. We don't know how deep this is going to go, and so I think people are going to be smarter with the money. Yeah. And if you're a big brand or a small brand, you need to build loyalty, and it's so easy. You just respond. Eric just explained it. He literally the cloud company just got his business on 3 other websites by just responding. I mean, it's so simple. It's like how hard is it?
But brands continue, small and large, to drop the ball on this. And I'm going around telling folks, and mind you, this isn't a business. My agency is not built around this. We are an agency. Right. I'm an agent. I represent athletes. I represent celebs. So it's not our world, but I point them to folks like you and others that are like, dude, build your brand and make it good. And then while you're building your brand, respond to those folks. When people engage with you on social media, dude, pay attention to them. And there's ways that you could do it. Big brands, I'm not talking about these Fortune 5s. They can afford the marketing power to do it.
They should be able to. Yeah, you think so, right.
It's not rocket science. But the smaller brands, these mom and pop shops that want to separate themselves from everybody else, I've seen some local brands really kill it just all over different regions because they're responding to people asking questions. And you've seen it, which is funny, is all the people making masks now, right? You put out, hey, I want to make a mask, and especially a lot of people are like, one, if you're making a mask and it's from China, you're probably not going to get a lot of money.
Right.
People are like, I'm good. I'd rather, I don't want that mask.
I'll put paper towel on my face.
I'll be good. I'll just cover my face with my hand. It's the same thing.
My mask.
Yeah, here we go. Just shirt over face. We're cool. But you see this with a lot of people who are small. I mean, and I love it because they're answering right away. We've had some custom masks made for our company, and we're giving some away for To The Point because they're like, boom, this is how you do it. Like, and they respond real time, middle of the night, and that's really cool to see. But then I go look at other people and they're just missing it, and they're like, I don't know why business is slow. And I think a lot of people don't understand how to use social media as a powerful tool. A lot of people look at social because they watch the news or something, and they're like, well, if I go on Twitter, all I'm going to do is read the president. And I'm like, no, it's not about that. Hey, my feed's more sports than anything, trust me. Even during this lockdown, it's been that way. But IG can be powerful. Each platform has its thing. So, Travis, if you're a brand, if you're a small mom, let's talk about our small and medium business folks, because those are the ones I love. Those are the ones that, you know, some of them got bailouts, some of them didn't, and they're like looking at these gigantic people who got bailouts, and they're like, really, bro? You're worth like a couple billion, and you needed money, and I didn't get it? So let's talk about this.
These hedge funds got so much money, too. Oh, it's sickening, dude.
And the Lakers? That was cute. When the Lakers took money, I was like, really, bros? Really? Your franchise is worth $7 billion. I don't think
not going to leave it. Yeah, it's not going to leave a good taste in people's mouth. But yeah, small business owners need this stuff right now.
So so if I'm a small business owner, Trav, how do I get started going, okay, I have social media, I have a Facebook page. Let's pick on Facebook. Everybody's there. Let's just face it.
Absolutely.
How do I get
one
started?
Local spot. Absolutely. So the things you can do right now is to tell your story. Why'd you start your business? Why are you continually staying in business? What are you doing to keep people safe and healthy and, you know, things going on? And give. Have contests, run promotions, give your shit away, because if you're going to go out of business, you might as well at least give back to the community. If you can give even our services, we've been having to give to some customers that are having tough times. It shows loyalty to your customer, and then they'll stick around when we get through this shit, because they might have some extra money, and then they come back tenfold, or they say, hey, you know what, Travis, you built so much loyalty with me. With some of our agencies, they said that because we've been giving back to them and saying, hey, man, you've been a great partner. We'll be a great partner. So tell your story first. Okay, you can do that in many ways. You can do that in stories, which is one of my favorite ways. I tell my story all the time. I'm a dad. I tell my papa I'm going to do all sorts of things through stories. And you can tell your story easily. It kind of somewhat goes away, but it also can be archived in IG, for instance. So people could go back and see what fatherhood looks like for me, or what, you know, Tutalin, or what real time looks like. And I can see my podcast guests or shows I've been on. And the point is, storytelling is the most critical asset you can do right now in social, right? And then the other things you can do, which people love and are guaranteed to work, on Facebook especially, is be funny. Find a funny meme about your industry every single week on a funny Friday, funny Sunday. Share it. It doesn't have to be on brand, but you'll find that these posts are the ones that get the most shares, right? They trick people into, you know, commenting and engaging, and that's what you want, because then the algorithm is going to put up them to see your next post, which is maybe not shareable, but it's going to get more reach. And so this is the first way to trick, is through memes, through selfies, fun things. You can just be funny with your staff, but memes are just a great one. The next two things are still great shareable assets. Emotional. Tell an emotional story or an emotional quote, or also tell a motivational story, a motivational Monday. Get people fired up for the week. We see this shit go viral on pages, like a house client gets all of a sudden 50 shares on a post in a local Sacramento area, for instance. And home builders don't get this on their normal posts. Even if we put big budgets to it, it doesn't get posted like this. So these things work. Funny, motivational, or emotional. And last thing is give. Contests always have worked. Since I started social media 11 years ago, folks, I've been grinding for 11 years. Still, Facebook is actually our number one request, Eric. Surprisingly, obviously, it's Facebook and IG now, but Facebook is still the local business marketplace. And so the last thing you can do is give away your services. If you're a restaurant, give away pizzas. If you're an insurance agent, maybe you have to give away Starbucks gift cards. One of my favorite ones is a $5 or $10 Starbucks gift card, and you'll get a shit ton of engagement around this. Look up timeline engagement contests, folks, on Google. Or I got one for you that works every single time. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100. You're likely to get 100 responses. No one knows the answer except Eric, right? you're tricking these people with these different things I'm telling you. You're with the funny and motivational and also giving. You're tricking them also see your other stuff, which is maybe driving them to the podcast. Anytime you put a link in your post, folks, Facebook or Instagram or anything, you can't really link Instagram posts, but Facebook for sure is going to look negatively on you on that stuff, right? So if it's only linked posts that you're doing, your algorithm is going to go down and down every post. And if you're not doing the funny one that all of a sudden gets 50 random shares and doing the contest that gets 100 comments, and you're doing the motivational, which doesn't get 50, but maybe gets 5 shares and it gets a few people tagging, that's what tricks the algorithm. And it's been doing it since I started 11 years ago. So any size page, Eric, you can do those things. Tell your story through stories. Be funny. Be motivational. And give. Boom.
I love that. Boom. I love the way, boom. I love the mic drop. And I think that's good for people to say. And it's funny you brought up, Facebook, still people use it.
Absolutely.
I think everybody's on it still. And like it or not, everybody who says they're leaving, they never do. I love it. Well, I'm leaving Facebook. No, you're not. You're still there.
It's the local leader, and it owns Instagram, so it's you're leaving to go to its other property. So it's not like you're
not going far. It's not like you're like, hey, I'm showing you. I'm showing the man now. It is funny you bring that up. So let's talk about Facebook pages. We get a lot of questions, and having an expert on is an awesome thing.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have you back to talk about other stuff. You talk about so much. I mean, we could probably geek out for 2 hours talking about EDM alone, and then Bitcoin, and then investments. I want you back for each one. But this one, we're talking about social media because I think it's something people need to do now and invest. Right. But we'll have you back next to talk about investing. But right now, social media is the key for businesses across the country. So
100.
Here's the number one question I get. They're like, hey, Eric, and I don't know. By the way, I don't know why people call and ask me. It's like, dude, we don't do this. We have partners that we partner with to do this, but they're like, should I boost post? Right? It's the number one thing. Should I do it? And I'm like, my 2 cents is, yeah, I don't see a problem with it. It doesn't cost a lot compared to other platforms. Sorry, LinkedIn, I'm going to call you out here. Love you, LinkedIn. You're just way out of most people's budgets.
Expensive, yes.
Like super expensive. Facebook, on the other hand, a lot of people have proven $1 a day goes a long way. I made that
It's a winning strategy, dude. Absolutely.
It grows your brand. Spend the money. If you're going to do that, don't go buy. Like I tell people, again, picking on LinkedIn, I'd rather take what it costs, almost $100 a month to be LinkedIn Premium, which doesn't help you at all.
It doesn't. Sales Navigator and all that. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need that. I'm like, how about I just keep the free part of it? Because I built my platform out. People can still connect with me. I don't care who's looked at my profile anymore.
I don't either, dude. Just you guys know too. I have the same mentality as you do about that.
But take that money and I always tell people, well, where do I get that? I'm like, are you paying for premium? They're like, yeah. I'm like, take that money out. Take that same budget, plug it into boosting every post on Facebook for $1. And you could do it in 5, 15, and 30s. So you just do those kind of days and you string it out. You're only spending maybe $100, $200 a month, and you're growing and you're going better. So Travis, how do folks get started? What's your thoughts on boosting? What is right to boost? What's bad to boost? Do we boost those memes? Do we boost our articles? Do we boost our ads? Which one do we boost?
Everything. The only thing you might not have to boost is the contests. The contest, because it's going to be kind of the prize itself is the boost, if you want to call it. So we tend not to boost those posts just because it's like, if you're going to spend $20 or $100 or whatever you're going to give, that's kind of the caveat. And you'll actually see anyone that's listening, if you do a $100 gift card contest or a $100 Starbucks card or Visa card or anything, $100 cash, $100 in pizzas, you're going to get a shit ton of engagements. I can promise you. If it's $100 or more, if you give $1,000, as long as it's not bullshit, if it's real, $1,000 real, and someone's going to win, you're going to get a lot of engagement. So, or $5. Everyone can afford $5 on this call. Everyone can afford a $5 Starbucks e-card. It's simple and easy to deliver. No postage needed. All you need is the person's email address. It works. And so right now, I think the biggest thing that people can be doing specifically on Facebook, Eric, is taking advantage of shops. Facebook shops is the new thing that's come maybe due to the pandemic. They were working on it a little bit before, but the pandemic maybe spiced it up. Working with great companies like Shopify to create, if your business has not basically had an online portal to sell products, this is the way. You can literally be selling pizzas through Facebook shops. You create your pizzeria menu. You literally, people don't have to put in their credit card or feel weird about putting their credit card in your account. If they have a card attached to their Facebook account, It's just going to build their card so they can feel comfortable about that, if you want to call that. As you know, people are kind of weary about putting their cards on different websites and things like that outside of using Apple Pay or secure kind of connections. It's kind of weird to put your credit card on certain sites. You just don't know. You're like, I don't know, And so that's a big one. It's a big stepping stone. I think it's still in the infancy, folks. So don't be afraid to just start slow and just see where it goes. But maybe put a product or two and test it. The way you can obviously promote it is give away a good amount. Give 50% off. Give a buy one, get one on the product, on the shop, Yeah. The other things you can do are sell gift cards. We see this working all the time right now. Maybe you're in a business where you need some cash right now. You're not open. You can do a $100 gift card for $50 or a $100 gift card for $40, and it sells because it's a value, right? When you hear that, Eric, that's somewhat of a value to you. If it's a $100 gift card to your favorite haircut place because they are not open right now in California, as you know, but you can now get it for $40, right? So now the haircut place is now able to get $40 of cash flow that, down the road, hopefully you're keeping them alive, right? Yep. So that's another really great one that we've seen success with, Eric. And the last one I would say is this: go live. Go live. Push the button and go live. I go live with DJing. I never thought I'd do DJing live. It's the most scalable thing I've ever done because people all over the state and all my family and friends and cousins are popping in whenever they have time. And then people obviously see it later in the feed. But the live feature is so cool. And that's the great way to connect to people. Talk to people. Say, hey, this is what's going on today. Hope you guys are having a great day. Or you can create a story or a theme around it. Hey, we're going to go live at 5:00 today. So you can kind of promote it so people know, right? But the point is, this is just another great way to connect. And live, we've seen more and more businesses and brands. The numbers aren't going to be huge, but what happens is it posts to the news feed and then a lot more people see it. So the numbers live, folks, might only be like 10 people saw this. You're like, oh shit, that sucks. But then it goes to the feed and all of a sudden like 1,000 people see it. Yep. And a bunch of people comment on it. And then all of a sudden, it's just like it's a normal piece of content. So your live video turns into a piece of content. So don't be afraid to push that live button. As I know our mutual friend Fanzo would say, just push the damn button.
Hell yeah. And it's funny that you bring that up because my last question for you, just because we could talk about it, then we can wrap here. But absolutely. My biggest thing is this. I recently read this, and it was over the weekend I read it. Somebody said, what matters most on social is the number of followers. Not likes, not engagement, that if you want to make money, you got to have followers. And the funny comparison was Kardashian, Kendall Kardashian and The Rock, because The Rock just became the highest paid. That dude gets paid almost $4 million a post, which is bananas if you think about his
houses, baby. Houses per post.
I love that dude. I mean, I love The Rock, so I'm not knocking him. But I kind of cringed at that because I go and think about lives. And I remember when I started doing lives and doing this very show live, going, oh, there's only 20 people watching. But then go and then you look back and you're like, wow, this has 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 views. It's kind of crazy. What's that? Go the other way.
The Rock. This is The Rock right here.
I love it. Dwayne.
The Rock, to my fan, it says, to my number one fan, The Rock.
I love it.
This is when it's 2005. This is when he was just getting started, man. This is doom.
Look how skinny he is.
Right?
I mean, skinny in the fact that now he's buffer than anybody.
He's
I didn't mean like
a savage, a straight savage.
I didn't say Rock. Sorry, Dwayne. I did not mean like look
he's
how
like
skinny
gonna come knocking.
are.
He's like, ready for the Titan games. Let's go, Eric.
He's popped that eyebrow up, and all of a sudden I'm like peeing myself. Halfway through
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking, baby?
I love that man. That man comes on my TV. I will watch any of his movies. I love
Rock for president, baby. The Rock and Mark Cuban for president.
I would go for that. I'd be all over.
Good combo, baby. That's a good combo, baby.
There we go. Because he'll get you.
They don't want to ruin their family life, though. They don't want to ruin their family life, unfortunately.
Hell, they're smart. They love their kids. It's like the great Buster Posey didn't want to play in Major League Baseball this year because he wanted to take care of family. Mad respect, Trevor Ariza out of Portland, same thing. But that's not what we're talking about. So before you go, what's your thoughts on this debate? I saw the debate. I mean, it's been a hefty thread. People are like, dude, really? Like, you think followers are everything? Because I think engagement to me means more than growing. I don't want to be one of those guys who spikes his following where all of a sudden you have 5,000, 10,000 followers, which more than usually means you bought followers.
You can. A lot of them do, actually, to be transparent with you, sadly.
Oh, gotcha. It's I see it. Trust me, they're out there. They're selling it to us. They're like, oh, your show needs it. And I'm like,
yeah, you can buy them and then they fall off, and then people keep buying them, and then there's all sorts of people that do tracking in this stuff, both on YouTube channels, on IGs. The authentic way, folks, is just to see what happens. I mean, like you said, put some money on it. You can boost posts on your IG as well. If you have a business IG, you can boost those posts. That's another great thing you can do with $1. We've seen it drive a shit ton of engagement for brands, a lot more than expected, because IG is becoming a tougher platform. I mean, we work with some clients, Eric, that have well more than 1 million followers. And at the end of the day, the IG engagement is down about 90%. Yeah. So they used to get 100,000 engagements. Maybe they get 10,000, And so the point is, you can't just be looking at engagements or looking at followers, because you can basically buy both, right? You can literally buy both. If you wanted to spend the money every day, you can buy fake India followers. You can buy fake comments on your posts. But what does that really do for you? Does that really get you more guest business? Does that really help grow your brand? I don't know. I mean, so people do it, and these top influencers are kind of all in a rat race. So they're kind of all doing it in a way. But the transparent answer is there is no answer. There is no answer. It's whatever's right for you. If you want to spend money, I would suggest using ads to boost your content. That gets your content in front of more of the right people, and then you pick up followers from that. So if you have good content, someone sees it like, oh, I just saw your content. Well, that was because it got boosted to you, not because I am part of your following, right? And that's the way I think you win. And it's a long-term game, Eric. You got to think of it long-term. When I started my show 6 years ago with the B-Real show, didn't think it would be still recording, still going, still grinding, still doing 4 episodes now a week. The point is, literally, it grows. The numbers were zeros, and now we had shows that had 20, 30,000 people seeing one show.
It's crazy.
For me.
Yeah.
For me, that's big, because it's all scalable to my life, and it's not my main thing. It's just a side little project. But when the beginning, if I would have given it up, year 1, year 2, right after our shows, it would have been easy to just say, oh, it's done. No one cares. But if I kept on grinding, that's now when I get Tony Robbins or Oprah or wherever, they're going to be backlogging, and my boy Eric's show is going to get love again. Even 6 years, in the future, it's gotten more love. So just like you're seeing with Rogan right now with his show, right? Yeah. So the point is, his whole back catalog and everything like that's valued to Spotify. That's why they've signed a $100 million deal with him or more. And that's why he's moving to Texas, Austin, because he's a smart man. He's a smart businessman. So the point is, at the end of the day, you got to keep building. When he first started, he'll tell you, if you listen to his show, he never thought it would be where it's at. He wasn't building. He wasn't planning to be Howard Stern. Yeah. He didn't go out with that intent. He was just listening to Ustream, answering questions, talking to his fans. Oh, people like this. Let's do it again. Let's keep going. And then he just didn't give up. And now he's got a beast. And so I think that's the key thing. Just like you've experienced in your life, Eric, like you just keep focusing on it. I remember one of my favorite things Eric said on our podcast that always reminds me to remember and think this way is that you are the superhero of your movie. Yep. That shit's always stuck to me. That was 6 years ago, 5 years ago. That shit is always stuck to me now, dude.
I remember saying that. Now I'm like, wow, I should say that again.
See?
It's true.
Yeah,
but
it
sticks.
It's a great thing to talk about. It's a great thing to think about.
It sticks. And I think all of us have become, and it's just funny that, again, as we wrap here, Travis, you're back, which is great to reconnect, interview you again, see your success. I love it. Just like I told Fanzo, I love it that we all kind of connected and we were all doing our own thing. And the world was so different then, not just because 2020 happened, but it's great. It's proof. And I think anybody watching who's like, I don't know if I can make it, this journey, and you brought it up, like quitting, right? And I'm a big Peloton rider, and almost everybody talks about quitting. One of the best instructors they have is Alex Trezant. I love Alex just because everything he talks about. But quitting, it's so easy mentally to quit on something, and you're like, I highly doubt this is going to work. But to see Fanzo killing it, you killing it. I think we're doing pretty decent. And everybody just we're all humble warriors. We're all doing our thing, and our message is all the same. And that hasn't changed. Your message is being, how can I provide help to you and make you stronger, raise you up? And you were saying this when you were raising yourself up. So it's cool to see that We actually practice what we preach. We're not just out there leaning on Lambos, putting out bad ads where we haven't built it. And like 2 years ago, we were working at Walmart. No knock if you're working at Walmart, but these guys usually, these frauds that are out there. And now we're the workers. And you said it best. And I love that you said it because on this show, we say it all the time. You're a 11-year overnight success, right? I mean,
exactly.
So,
exactly.
So
and shit, I'm
everybody,
getting hit over the head too, right, this year because I'm going through Rona, and it's gonna make me stronger, man. You know, and I'm not gonna stop.
No.
I'm gonna be here 11 years from now, doing the show, going on shows, being a great dad. My girl's gonna be 12 at that point. So god dang, I'm gonna be scared. She's gonna be thinking about boys and all this thing. I'm gonna have to teach her about the shotgun.
Oh yeah. Welcome to that world. I can tell you all about it. We can have a whole separate episode about
karate kicks. But yeah, man, like you said, man, it's think long term, folks, about your life. And one of my favorite statements that I'll leave you guys with is this: just do you. Because the more you focus on you, the more you focus on the things in your life that are important to you and getting those things done, the more you can do for others. It's not selfish to focus on you at any point.
Absolutely, it's not. And on that, that's perfect. Focus on you. Nothing wrong with that. And my friend, I want to thank you, Travis, for joining us today. Everybody, Travis Huff. Make sure you go check out his website, his show, podcast. Go subscribe to it. Everything is in the link below here on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, check to the comments. You'll see them near the top. Our team has put them in there and pinned them there for you so you can go check it out. Make sure you support Travis and all his needs. And if you need social media help, I highly advise you call this young man here.
Boom! Let's go, baby.
Boom! He'll help you because he can help you anywhere in the globe and kick ass while he does it. And you see his personality, so you know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a guy who's gonna have fun, and he's on a drone. He's gonna be like, "This is what you need to do to get it done." And then I'm never gonna help you again. You're never gonna see me. No ego here at all. So Travis, I want to thank you, brother, for being on. We got to have you back soon. I want to talk about investments with you. So let's get you back on in August and talk about investing.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it,
brother. So everybody else, we'll be right back after these. Thank you for watching this episode of To The Point. As always, I'm your host, Eric Mitchell, and we thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, if you know someone that we should be interviewing on our show, or you'd like to be a guest on our show, feel free to email us at hello@tothepointtv.com. We'd love to have you as a guest on our show. Please go ahead and feel free to follow us on Twitter at tothepointtv. We'd love to see you on Twitter. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram. We're huge fans of Instagram here at To The Point. So give us a follow at To The Point and a like and a share so you can see the guests that are coming up on IG. And that is at tothepointtv. It's not .com. It's just at tothepointtv. So confusing with all these names taken. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, you know what we're going to get ready to go. But before you do that, if you're a fan of Facebook and you spend a lot of time on there, go give our Facebook page a like and a follow and share it with your friends. And keep in mind, if you can't get to your YouTube, you can always watch us live at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern weekdays. We appreciate to see you there. And as always, my favorite peeps, you're here on the YouTube, and we love you here on YouTube. So make sure that you drop in and you can see every episode and never miss an episode, right? Because if you smash that subscribe button, give it a like, and flick that bell, you flick that bell, you get notified before everyone else when we drop the latest episode or subscription. And as a reminder, all of our segments and shows go live weekdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, so you will be the first to catch them, and you don't want to miss them. Go check out our library. They are broken down by hashtags, so you will never miss an episode. On behalf of our entire team here at To The Point, we want to thank you for tuning in, because if it wasn't for viewers like you, we wouldn't have a show. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, I'm your host, Eric Mitchell. Be safe, be strong, be smart, and God bless America.
Let's get to the point.